Why is it difficult for girls to lose weight and keep their skin smooth? And what's the secret of female intuition? Today you'll learn the answers to all these questions and more, because you'll find a lot of interesting and useful information about the fair sex. This is Infinity, and in this episode I'll tell you new facts about the female body, which even women themselves do not know. Let's go! Mood. All women are aware of the symptoms of PMS, but not every woman notices that her cycle affects every day of her body's life. Because hormone levels in the brain and body are constantly changing, they also change a woman's outlook, energy level, and sensitivity. Studies have shown that women often feel more liberated about 10 days after the start of their cycle and just before ovulation. During these days, they try to dress brighter and look more attractive to potential partners. A week later, when progesterone levels rise, women tend to be more inclined to stay home to drink hot tea, curl up in bed, and watch some shows and TV series. A week after that, women tend to have higher emotional levels and are more prone to tears and irritability. Half a day or so before the start of a new cycle, girls' mood is usually at their worst. Circadian rhythms. Not only do women have a fairly clear schedule of mood swings, but they also have a clear schedule of sleeping and staying awake. You may have noticed that women tend to wake up a few hours earlier than guys, provided neither of them has to get up to an alarm clock. There are also more early birds among women than men. According to the study, women's biological clock corresponds to the Eastern time zone. That's why girls get up and go to bed earlier than men. Weight loss. A slim figure is something that many girls strive for. They exercise, stick to the routine, and try to lose weight in every way. I've bad news for girls. Losing weight is quite a challenge for you, and this is by no means an insult. So say British scientists who concluded that women lose weight 5 times slower than men. This is explained by the fact that the woman's body is programmed to give birth to children. The fat layer on the abdomen and hips is created to protect the future child, so it's not so easy to remove this layer. The nature doesn't really want a woman to risk her potential offspring, so the process of losing weight in women is not easy. By the way, everyone knows that one of the main rules of weight loss and many diets is to completely avoid alcohol, right? It can be said that it's caloric and harmful, and that women are more susceptible to it. Tests show that women get drunk faster than men, and this is not because the fair sex cannot drink. There's simply less water in women's tissue than in men's, and it's water that helps fight intoxication. Women's bodies do not have time to quickly process alcohol before it enters the bloodstream, hence the rapid intoxication. In addition, women sweat less than men, which means that alcohol escapes through their skin more slowly. Let's imagine that a woman has given up alcohol, is exercising, leads a healthy lifestyle, and so on. Would she be satisfied with her body? If she's over 60, she probably would. Australian and New Zealand scientists have come to the unusual conclusion that women become satisfied with their bodies only after 60 years. According to scientists, at this age, the health turns out to be more important than appearance. So if a woman is healthy after 60, then she'll already be happy. And the periods from 24 to 29 and from 34 to 39 years are the periods in terms of maximum body dissatisfaction. During these periods, women actively criticize their appearance and figure. Immunity. Women may be more prone to body criticism than men, and they get drunk faster than men, but in terms of immunity, they would give any guy a head start. It's wrong to call females the weaker sex because women's immunity is very strong. Studies show that the reason is the female sex hormone estrogen. It limits the release of an enzyme that prevents the body's defense against bacteria and viruses. It's not known why this happens, but according to one version, it's because the female immune system has become stronger in the process of evolution due to the key role of women in childbearing and caring for their offspring. Strong immunity, by the way, slows down internal aging, which is why women live longer than men. Not only do women have a strong immune system, but they also have a high pain threshold. You can find many jokes on the internet, and not only on the internet, talking about how a guy can feel very bad with a temperature just above 37 degrees Celsius. In fact, this is only partly a joke. Men actually have a much worse pain tolerance because of the lowered pain threshold. In women, it's as much as 9 times higher than in men. This was the conclusion reached by Canadian scientists. It's not surprising that a woman may not even feel a little fever, while for a man, such a malaise can knock him down. The reason for this phenomenon is simple. If women had the same pain threshold as men, they wouldn't be able to survive childbirth. They probably wouldn't have survived periods either. The researchers concluded that lower abdomen pain during periods in women can be just as severe as it is during a heart attack in men. Scientists also found that women and men remember their past pain differently. Men are more stressed and hypersensitive when they think about pain they've experienced before. Women, on the other hand, tend to forget it much more quickly. In terms of flexibility, as well as in terms of pain threshold, women have an advantage over men. Girls are more flexible than guys for several reasons. First, female muscles and ligaments contain more elastin, a protein that gives muscles, organs, and skin the ability to stretch. Second, women's lower spines are structurally different from men's. They've evolved to withstand the stress of carrying a child for 9 months. By the way, because of evolutionary adaptation to childbearing, women not only have more flexibility but also a wider range of motion in the pelvis. The next quality has more to do with women's behavior than their bodies. Anyway, this is also interesting because scientists recently concluded a study and found that women make environmental choices more often than men. Women are more likely to exhibit environmental behavior. They're more likely to sort garbage and buy locally produced food. This behavior is not the result of any activity related to ecology. Among the tested women, there were very few of those who care about ecology because they themselves are associated with this sphere. Let's go back to something more understandable. For example, speech. A well-known stereotype says that girls are very chatty. In fact, this is not really a stereotype, but a scientific phenomenon. In fact, researchers have found that 2 brain centers are responsible for speech in women. So a girl can easily say up to 8,000 words a day. Girls also use up to 3,000 sounds and up to 10,000 nonverbal signals every day. So guys aren't short on words, we're just not as coolly evolved and developed as you are. Speaking of development, it's also worth considering the development of the female body as a whole. Not so long ago, it was thought that physiological changes in women end with adolescence, but this is not true. The girl is formed physically up to about 20 years. Acne, periodic cramps, and peak of metabolism. All this happens in women at the age of 20 years. By this time, cellulite can appear, even if it never was, and shapes become thicker. It's commonly believed that women are very good at hearing. That's true. Girls develop their hearing better than boys. The first successes appear at the age of 1 week. By this time, a newborn girl can already distinguish her mother's voice from other voices, as well as hear another baby crying. The same works in the opposite direction. If the father may not even notice his baby crying at night, the mother is sure to jump up and go soothe the baby. The electrical activity of the female brain during sleep is reduced by only 10%, so women's sleep is more tactful. In addition, girls are better at hearing high-frequency sounds. One study showed that while most men perceive sound information only with the left hemisphere, which is responsible for hearing and speech, women perceive it with the right hemisphere, which is associated with creativity. Perhaps this is why women are often credited with hearing what was not said in the conversation. Women have not only cool hearing, but also cool eyesight. Everyone knows the stereotype that where a man sees only one color, a woman can see a dozen shades. In fact, this is true, not a stereotype. Women are amazing at distinguishing colors and shades and seeing the world differently than men. It has to do with the X chromosome. Women have 2 of these chromosomes, while men only have 1. Even if one chromosome is damaged, a woman can still see colors correctly. This is the reason why girls are so good at understanding shades and seeing a wider color spectrum than guys. How much wider? Well, one study showed that 12% of women can distinguish up to 100 million colors and shades. Guys, on average, can only distinguish 1 million shades. In addition to colors, girls are excellent at distinguishing odors. A study by scientists at the American Chemical Senses Center showed that women have an impressive ability to pick up familiar odors at very low levels. After a month of exposure to an odor, women will be able to smell it at a concentration of 1/1000th of its original concentration. Scientists have even found that some women are able to tell when a person, and especially their partner, is stressed simply by the smell of their clothes. And finally, a couple of interesting facts about female intuition. This is by far one of the most mysterious phenomena. The intuition in women indeed is better developed than in guys, and you're probably more than once convinced of this. But what's the reason? Japanese researchers conducted an experiment with men and women and found that women can detect even subtle threats and apprehend danger. They believe it's because of elevated levels of such hormones as progesterone, cortisol, and estradiol. The concentration of these hormones, especially during ovulation, increases a woman's sense of anxiety and senses of danger. That's why a woman intuitively feels threat better than a man. As in many other cases, historically and evolutionarily, such increased concentration of hormones is explicit by the fact that nature has sharpened female instincts in order to make a woman a reliable bearer of the family name. That's all, guys. Which fact about the female body surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.